1-2-1-2. Yes, we are back with another episode of the Cliff Notes Podcast. Available everywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the whole nine, of course, at KlyphNotes.com. It's been a year, and we back at it.
Yes.
Doe from the go,
Yes.
back in the PDX. What's good with you, bro?
Man, my brother, man, how you feeling?
I'm really good, bro. How you?
I'm great, man. Blessed.
Yeah,
Just happy
bro.
to be breathing, man. Being able to take care of my kids and progress.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Never stop.
Yes, sir.
Never stop. We talked about that last time.
Yeah.
Bro. Always moving. You pulled up. You ain't come solo though.
Yeah.
It's funny, we were talking about it when you were here last time, just about the work that you do as an individual artist, and then the work that you do in supporting and building with other artists. And you brought one of the folk who you've been building with. Ladies and gentlemen, the NME live on the Cliff Notes Podcast. What up, bro?
What's going on, man?
How you
for having
feeling?
me.
Man,
Feeling
thank
good.
you for being here, bro.
Of
Thank you
course,
for being here.
Long flight, but
I was about to say Toronto to Portland.
it almost didn't make it though, because Air Canada had a strike.
That's right.
Yeah, so
That's right.
I was getting here regardless. I made sure I told everybody, I was like, I'm getting there regardless.
That's what's up.
We might not have been through Air Canada.
Yeah.
5 a.m. on Tuesday they closed that, so
Yeah, man. That's nuts.
It was
bro.
good.
That's
Here.
nuts. Is your first time out here?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like so far, like what you think, bro?
I love Portland, man.
Yeah?
Portland has a good energy.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Portland has
bro.
really good energy. So
Yeah.
they like really supportive energy as well for the music and everything. So
Absolutely.
I definitely noticed that. Even before coming out here.
Yeah.
I noticed that. I
Yeah.
noticed the support and everything for like the events and just what's going on with the 10th year
Yep.
of PDX week. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been really crazy to see how things have happened after 2020. When everything, we were all sort of separated and pushed apart, and it came together. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that as a creative.
Yeah.
How you navigated that. But before we even get into that, man, talk to me about the connect. I mean, you and Doe, how y'all connected and started building this way.
So that was through Bruce. So yeah.
Shout out to Bruce. So y'all, he ain't on the
Shout out to
camera,
Bruce.
but Bruce in the building over there on camera duty.
My brother.
It was good,
My
bro.
brother.
Oh, but good.
So Bruce, he connected with me online. So you get a lot of people requesting sometimes and coming, reaching out or whatever. So the first thing I thought about was like, okay, cool. Let me because I'll entertain any conversation. I'm not one of those people that are like standoffish or anything like that. So we started building, and then I really respected that he listened to the music. Like he really took in the music. You know what I mean? He was telling me like, look, I've been listening to this stuff. I want to help you out in any way I can.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I inquired about like if he worked with Canadian artists before, because I know there's like certain parameters that people don't know about, but he was solid.
That's what's up.
So yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
bro.
definitely. And then that's how I met Doe.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
And at the dots.
It's so dope. Having an opportunity to see the work that D has been doing, the art that he's been putting out for a minute. What was it that made you go, yep, this is definitely somebody who I want to build with?
Well, me, I'm only interested in artists who have a vision for themselves, no matter what it is they're doing. If you have a vision for yourself and you have a consistency line of what you plan to do, it immediately attracts me. So that's what attracted me about him. Aside from us just locking in, it just I was attracted by the past grind, and then it let me know what I can add value wise to him.
Yeah.
So here we are.
That's what's up. So D, when Doe told me you was coming through and like let's try to get together and chop it up, that was my introduction to you.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Sick.
So I had to go
appreciate
through
that,
and start peeping the catalog. And one of the things that was pretty evident early on was stylistically the way that you have created art. That it's you navigate this art form of rap very I'm gonna say eclectically, so
like
that
that
when we listen to your catalog, we can hear that you touch on many of the I'm gonna say subgenres of rap.
Yeah.
Is that would you say that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, I would say, I would definitely say that, because I like to, I'm always going to be doing the lyrical stuff first and foremost, right?
Yep.
Like that's my base,
Yep.
you know what I mean? But I think it's important to be able to do other stuff as well, to show you can do it. I don't compromise my lyricism by any means, right? But again, I do believe in you trying to expand your music, you're trying to get it to as many people as possible. I don't think you have to compromise lyrically what you do, but the producers I work with, like, they'll tell me, they're like, look, we're doing this type of record or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get opportunities to be on radio, right?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, like, look, this hardcore hip hop record, they're not gonna listen to it past one time. So he's like, let's do a record that makes sense. So at least you have a better shot at getting on, radio. If you get something on radio, you know what I mean? Type of thing. So I take that into consideration when I'm making certain records, but it's always going to start with the lyricism and things like that. But that's why you probably saw the subgenres and everything.
So, I'm an old head.
Yeah.
And you say lyricism.
Yeah.
And that warms my heart.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Why is that important to you? Why is that valuable to you?
This is what I grew up on. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up on that, and I've always been connected to things that, like, not to change the subject, but like, I like MMA and stuff, right? So I like the guys who put in the skill.
Yeah.
You know, they're not necessarily the most famous guys.
Yeah.
Right? But when you get in there with them,
Yeah.
you know what's gonna happen, type of thing. You know what I mean? So for me in hip hop, I compare the same thing, right? Like, you're never gonna take out a rapper that's dope.
Yeah.
In no circumstance. You know what I mean? It's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But he or she might not be the most famous, but when it comes to bars and like lyricism or whatever, you're just not gonna take him out. There's no way, you know what I mean? So that was a thing to me that always, you know, stood out,
Yeah.
and it's what I grew up on. So it's what I won't compromise that, you know.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I love that, man. Just became an even bigger fan of the enemy, bro.
Appreciate that.
You know, there's always the cliche-ish question, your top 5, whatever. But I heard heard a conversation recently, and someone asked the question of the moment that they heard a song that really changed it for them. You know, so as an example, for me, it was being a fan of hip hop and rap from the, you know, like I said, I'm an old head, right? So from the late 70s through the 80s, and really embracing it. And then when I was in high school in the late 80s, and I heard Rakim,
Yeah.
changed things for me.
Yeah.
Was there a moment like that for you, from a creative standpoint, where you heard an artist and went, okay, this is different?
There's a lot of artists that did that for me, right? Like, I mean, there's one record I heard. I remember walking down the street, and it was Cannabis and Coogee Rap.
Okay.
Right? I shit my pants when I heard that record.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you gotta, like, to me, Coogee Rap, top 3, any era. You know what I mean? He doesn't get, again, one of the guys that doesn't get the
credit,
recognition, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Lyrically, he's who he is. So that was a big one for me. Cannabis with his freestyles. You know what I mean? Like, again, one of those guys, like, these guys are like just dope, but
Yeah.
for me, it's different moments, man. Like even the 4321 record with LL Cool J, right? How that started. You know what I mean? Like they were competing on that record.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
when you even hear the backstories of that, like, you know, Cannabis does his verse, LL's like, he says his thing, they get into it or whatever, and he's like, I'm not changing my part, you change your part, but I'm not changing my part, you know what I mean? So there's like a lot of different moments with that, but it's always come from, like, again, the lyricism part of it, like that. I couldn't name one record, to be honest with you. It'd be unfair
Yeah, I
to do
know, I
that.
feel
You know what I
you.
mean? Like, I couldn't do that with one record, but I can say that even, there's, again, moments in records, Big Daddy Kane, there's a performance he did where he drops the mic on purpose, right?
Yes.
Drops the mic.
Yes.
And people are like, oh, you fucked up. You know, he picks the mic up and starts ripping it.
Right.
Like that's, like, moments like that to me, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So like, there's just a lot of moments.
No doubt.
I can't do one.
No doubt.
So I gave you a couple though.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's
yeah.
up. I appreciate that. So just even with that though, okay, I get it. I see what you saw. I see what you saw, bro. The as you're working on as you're working with the enemy and see everything that he just described, and then see the work that he's already put out, what is your vision for how you can contribute to or add to or you know, even encourage and mentor?
Well, it's all about movement when it comes to brand and face. So right now, you know, we've had several conversations thus far. It's all about bringing him into different markets and finally moving him around in a sense of touching the people. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be like our goal for the next year. It's as far as like moving to different markets, Portland being one of them.
Yeah.
You know, Denver, Seattle, Chicago, Phoenix, Arizona. Just places that he's never been before.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that'll be the focus. And then that way he'll be able to spread his wings more in a sense of everything from press to lifestyle, performance, etc. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, bro. So and D, as you've gotten to build with Doe and seeing the work that he's done and the conversations that you've had, for you, what is it that you see that made you go, yep, this is definitely something that will help me continue on the path that I started myself on?
So he's one of those people that you have to listen to when you're having a conversation, like absorbing, you know what I mean? Not doing too much talking.
Right.
Like I want to, because he, again, his history in the game, like he's, like off-camera conversations, he's told me of people he's done work with or whatever, you're like, hey, I see people like you on TV when I was in Canada.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's like for me, I'm absorbing everything he's saying and like asking questions, you know what I mean? Like, because when you see people like that come around, it's like, I've seen stories where artists like, no, I figured it out. I'm not doing that. But it's like if he's done this groundwork and he's responsible for a lot of success that you've seen, you can't argue with that. You got to listen. You got to know, okay, this is what it is. You can have opinions, right? You can say, okay, look, I have this vision for it. Does this kind of make sense? Here's what I got going on. And if he's like, look, this is cool, but let's like expand it with this. You got to take that in consideration and like work with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just the conversations we had. I saw like, okay, he's a solid dude in the music business. Done work in the music business. Worked with the labels. Understands how things work. Why things didn't work. You know what I mean? That's a big thing for me too. Being like the rapper I am or whatever. You look at it and you say, sometimes you get stuck in that underground thing, and he explains why it doesn't work. Like I brought up conversations about certain people. He's like, that's a bad example because that person doesn't make those type of records. So we can't service it on a bigger level. There's no point. We can work with their niche market, but we can't service it like that. So I never looked at it. I would think, oh, underground, like make the record, put it there. But he's like, no, it's not necessary. You know what I mean? No. So just a lot of knowledge that I'm absorbing.
Bro, like the humility that this dude got right now, you feel me? It's so refreshing.
For sure.
Because you consider this genre, right? There's such a big part of rap music that is about braggadocio, is about nobody, like you said, nobody can't tell me nothing. And for Dita to express that, like so, but again, I've been on a planet for a minute, and so I understand and just believe in the benefits of humility, and so for you to be able to express it that way, bro.
I appreciate that.
I'm talking about like outside of just this rap thing, you know what I mean? That's huge, B. That's huge.
Like, look, I'm really confident. Like in my skills, I'm always gonna be confident and stuff like that. Because I do martial arts. It's what we do. Like, but my thing is more like when you get in there, do your thing. Like I don't have to go behind the scenes and be like, I'm this.
Right.
You're like, it's whatever. I say it on the record. It is what it is, right? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not like, I don't need to do that outside. I'm like that off camera. I don't need to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I do it on the record, and that's where I leave it on the record.
That's what's up, man. The NME live on the Cliff Notes podcast. So I want to, as I was saying, as we are in this place, and this is just a conversation that we've been having here locally in Portland recently, because this week, especially celebrating what OG1 built, it was Star Child with PDX Hip Hop Day, that is now PDX Hip Hop Week, and then celebrating 10 years. And then just a couple years ago, we were having the same conversation about hip hop as a culture, celebrating 50 years. It's just so amazing to see, and then remembering, like literally being that kid who was saying to people, no, it's not a fad. Like just give it a chance, right? And now we're at this place where it is such an integral part of the fabric of everything all over the planet. And the music industry has embraced this art form that I love and has taken it. And you feel me? So how do you navigate that as a creative, where you see the pitfalls that can come, because a lot of the decision makers, a lot of the people who I hate the term gatekeeper, because I think it has a negative connotation where I think it shouldn't. But at any rate, how do you navigate that as a creative, where the industry is saying, well, if you want to, then you need to, or you have to, or this is what, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So a couple things, like first thing, manage your expectations. Like I manage my expectations, right? So, and I look at hip hop and the music industry as two different worlds.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Like I look at it as two different worlds.
For sure.
So if you live in the hip hop world, and you're doing the music industry stuff, you have to know there's certain things you're gonna have to do. You don't have to like give up your ass or anything like that. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that.
Right.
I mean, you shouldn't do that, but whatever. Some people think they do, you don't have to do that. But I'm saying, if you're not gonna do that, you're gonna be faced with certain challenges, right? And you have to say to yourself, am I willing to be cool with this challenge that I gotta go through? Like, am I willing to deal with that? And if I am, what's the cost? Is it costing my like morals? You know what I mean? Because that you shouldn't sacrifice ever.
Right.
But if it's something where you're like, you know what, I can do this, it's not gonna hurt. Like, I know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, I can give an example of Ice-T when he was doing the movie New Jack City. So he didn't want to do the cop stuff. He was like, I'm not playing a cop. And his homeboys were like, dog, it's an opportunity. We know who you are. So he didn't sacrifice anything. You see what I'm saying? So I think with certain things in the music industry, you have to ask yourself, what are you gonna be comfortable to do, right? Because if you're playing in the hip hop arena, then it's more going to be a hobby. It's just what it is, right? No disrespect to anyone doing it like that, but it's going to be a hobby. But if you're playing in the music industry arena, there's certain things that you might have to do, even if you do it independently. There's certain things, like, how many artists don't want to come do an interview?
Come on.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, I don't want to do it, but it's like, look, dude, you got to do it. Like, you got to You
if
have
this
to
is
show
what
up.
you if this is what you want to do
because
for your career.
yeah, someone might see the interview and be like, "That's what I like about that guy. I haven't heard his music, but I like that. We can figure things out. We
Yeah.
can improve things, but I like how he had that conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it makes people want to like interact with you and things like that.
1000%.
Yeah. So I just think managing your expectations, just understanding the two worlds and saying, look, I'll play in this arena here, and then if I gotta go into that arena, let me figure it out.
I so dig that,
Yeah.
bro. So though, as you speak about creating potentially new relationships, introducing D to regions maybe that he hasn't had an opportunity to build with yet. What are the things that you now can say? Okay, listen, this is why, you need to have this dude on your radio show. This is why you need to book this dude in your venue. What are the things that you're elevating? The things that you're highlighting?
What he represents, which is first off, I go for the integrity, of a man. What he stands for, just not for the music, but for the legacy of himself. His creativity, purpose, and then originality. I like working with artists that don't sound like somebody, or I would rather you be someone that someone's going to sound like versus you sound like someone. So I like to push all of those three things off onto relationships, platforms, and opportunities, etc. Just because I know that'll probably get him in versus being a carbon copy, or here we go another Gunna, or here we go another Dirt. I'd rather like just stray for artists who have a lot of innovative energy. You know what I mean? And so that's why I was confident to send you his kit and say, hey, look, and then it's me. So, I ain't just gonna say anything. You know what I mean? So, right. So that's how I want to navigate him and put him in position to just grow more. You know what I'm saying?
On that point that Doe makes, was that something that was already on your radar? Because we are in a time now when it is, whether it's even a conscious thought or whether it's just sort of in the back of our minds, we see the things that work, and then we think, okay, that's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
I'm not judgmental at all. That's what we're doing now. So let me and Doe is saying, no, like you have to create your own. You have to be your own person and let that shine forth.
I always, for a long time, right? Like I always was like, I'm staying myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be myself.
Yeah.
Because like regardless of the fact, if I come in being me, nobody can beat me at being me ever in life.
Bro, I say that. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Nobody can beat D better than D.
So it's like,
Yeah.
so I look at it and I'm like, if I do that, it'll work, right?
Yeah.
But if I go in and start doing something like somebody else, somebody in the room's gonna see that. They're gonna be like, this dude is pretending.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what happens,
Yeah.
right? No
Yeah.
opportunities,
Right.
like or you'll come and go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like for me, I've always said like I'm comfortable doing that. Whatever comes, like I'm comfortable doing it that way because it's like it's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that comes with time.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, you see certain things and you're like, look, I wanna be like that,
Yep.
right? But that person is doing their own thing. That's
Exactly.
not you, right? Like it's just
Exactly.
you can chip little things and like say, okay, I like what they're doing here, but ultimately you gotta like make it your own. So I've always said like I'm gonna do it my way,
Yeah.
and it's like if it's the lyrical stuff and they never pay attention to lyrics, there's some people that are if 10 people pay attention to, cool.
Right.
Those are my 10 people. I'll service them
Right.
and keep it moving with that. But I'm not gonna change how I speak. I'm not gonna change that type of stuff in any way.
I love it, bro.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, we got to get into a couple of the interview questions. So hold on.
I thought it was the interview.
I mean, we rocking and rolling. We rocking and rolling.
I was like, okay. That was the practice version.
right,
Like, okay, we're
right.
ready to go.
So is it last year? Last year
That's
you
good.
released In the End. Is that when that dropped?
In the end, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you make a record like that and you have an opportunity to be on a record with someone who's been in the music industry for a number of years, who has a name and a following and respect of a lot of folk and rap, is that like, yo, this is somebody who I appreciate what they do artistically and I really want to rock with them? Or is that, yo, this is somebody who I'm anticipating is going to get me in front of different people? Or is it just rap?
For me, it was just rap. Like I love the game. Like you know what I mean. I love the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I was like, okay, that opportunity to work with them is dope.
Yeah.
But my mentality with that was like, okay, what is he gonna do on the record before I hear this? And I'm thinking like hardcore 300 bars game.
Right.
So like my brain's going to that.
Yeah.
And again, when you look at hip hop from that standpoint, probably stay up late at night, a lot of stress. Thinking like, what's gonna go? And you know what I mean? Like I was talking to Bruce about that yesterday and said, I want a record with you, bars. And I'm like, I know what you're gonna send, so like, it's just it's competitive, right?
Yeah.
Again, like I do boxing, you
Yeah.
spar with people. It's nothing personal.
Right.
So with game, I was like, this is a dope opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, people are gonna check it out because of his name. It's cool, right? But I don't want them to check it out and be like, oh, what the,
Yeah.
you know, what's he doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
I'm always gonna be strong with the lyrics or whatever. But that was the mentality first, and
Yeah.
then second was okay. You're gonna have a cool rap record, but you want that music to be right. So I took it to my guy John Bonus. He's the producer, and there was Kevin Chow, I believe. I hope I didn't butcher his name, but Kevin Chow, he produced the beat,
Okay.
right? But it was more looped, you know what I mean? And John went in there and said, look, we're gonna section game and we're gonna really bring that up and switch. Like we're gonna have different characters for your verses,
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
personality wise.
Yeah.
So it makes the record over the top in that way. You know?
Gotcha.
So it was more like when I'm making these records,
Yeah.
like I get the rap stuff done, and
Yeah.
then we go to the music part. Let's make sure that's right. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So that's always the mindset, the rap first.
So though I just heard D just said that like you know he's looking forward to get on the record with Bruce, bro. What's up, bro? What's happening?
Yeah.
What you gonna make happen, bro?
I'm gonna probably end up producing that.
He's like, wheels are turning already.
I'm gonna end up
Right.
producing that
Yeah,
joint,
yeah.
You know, getting the fellas on some hot production, man. Of course, doing what we do.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. One of the reasons that that you folk are here is an event that's gonna happen. So by the time this drops, the event will have happened. So hopefully everybody's tapped into networks, and so that you knew that this was coming before it happened. But PDX and Beyond is happening tomorrow. It's going down at the White Eagle, which holds a very special place in my heart.
For sure.
Talk to me about I'm going to say the continued growth of the connection that you've been building between Portland and other places, and how this came, you know, how
it's important, you know, to always show love, you know, when we're in markets that we're not from, you know. So it's all about, you know, going somewhere and just making sure that, you know, the market is involved somehow,
Yeah.
and people from the market are involved.
Yeah.
So it'll be a really dope show. Live performances, producer showcase, networking, you know, some dope sponsors, giveaways, you know, incentives to give back to the people, you know, for their support.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, man. Should be real dope.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And you talk about doing that here in Portland, and this is what you do in some of these. You know, you talked about Denver. You talked about, you know, going
Phoenix,
to
Seattle,
Phoenix. Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about, you know, just showing up, man, and making sure, you know, when you do these, you know, mixers or performance opportunities, that, you know, you get everybody involved who wants to be involved, you know. Because what I notice about this market is there's a lot of artists from here who don't involve themselves in PDX Hip Hop Week. And, you know, it kind of reminds me of Chicago, where it's like, you know, sometimes the ego feels like it's bigger than the system or bigger than the event, you know.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. I feel like, you know, if it's a city where you're from and there's something going on in your city,
Yeah.
and even the smallest support, quick shout out, quick drop on it, whatever, even if you can't show up,
Yeah.
you know. So I think that has to change, where the ego doesn't involve self into, you know, why they feel like they're bigger than the program. You know what I'm saying? But I peep. It's a lot of dope talent here that I see. That's like, I'm like, wow, they're not involved in. But I know, I'll peep it all. I'll peep all the fake stuff. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just call it out because I'm authentic, man. I'm gonna speak on it.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. So for the ones who, you know, who do show love, you know, we give them the gratitude and show love back and make sure they have the visibility and the platform.
That's what's up, bro.
So.
That's what's up. When I mentioned it at the very, very top, when you in your creative space, during the pandemic, I'm always curious about what was that like for you. One of the things that I said when I saw the shutdown coming was I was really going to be curious as to who took it. I don't know another way to say it other than who took advantage of, or I ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah.
I can't go out the house. I'm gonna be really, really good at Call of Duty,
Yeah.
or I really wanna. I'm about this art.
Yeah, so for me, like, putting me in a pandemic, because I'm a homebody, so I was like, oh, you're going to tell me to stay home? Like, you're going to actually, like, lock me in my house and, like, not have anything to do? I'm like, okay, cool. So, like, I was just, focus on my music and different things, and not just, I don't want to say mindlessly releasing anything, because I'm a big believer on, like, the marketing. You can release 100 records, and, like, if there's no marketing behind it, it's just, like, boxes on Amazon. Like, no one's checking it, right? So, for me, I was peeping what was going on and everything, kind of just trying to figure out how are things navigating and stuff like that. But, focusing on my penmanship and things like that.
Yeah.
But also, too, just trying to figure out, like, whatever my next moves would be. You know what I mean? So, like, even with the game record, that came later, obviously. But during that moment, I was shooting content, because that's important as well. So, doing different types of content and things like that. But I wasn't bothered by staying at home or anything like that, because it's just, again, I'm cool to stay in that zone and just be in my own world and do that. So I was like, okay, as long as this goes. I mean, for other people, I get it, right? But for me, I wasn't looking at that as, it's unfortunate what was going on with people, though, like, obviously their health and things like that. That's not cool, because, people lost their lives and stuff. So that wasn't, like, anything to joke about. But in terms of just creatively, it didn't stifle anything for me, I wouldn't say. You know what I mean? It was just, you could focus. I do a lot of, like, mental training, too. So, like, staying in that zone and, like, affirmations, like, getting your mind right? Because, when you leave a situation like that, it does affect people mentally. If they
1,000%.
Yeah, if they don't, like, work on that and you go out there and things are different. Because people act different with that stuff. They weren't, like, in contact with people. So now their minds are, like, different, and nobody, like, not a lot of people are working on their minds like that.
Facts.
So if you come out of that and you really, like, work on your mind, you'll be solid.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So as you're in this place now, we talked about this your first time here in Portland. Doe's got his connects around the really around the world. Let's keep it a buck.
Absolutely.
Is there a place or places that you're looking forward to hitting? Some spots you're looking forward to that you haven't been to yet?
Yeah, there's definitely regions in the States that I want to hit, but I spoke to Doe about Europe.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's something, like, eventually that would be,
Facts.
you know what I mean, interested in doing, because, like, they just have a good, they have a lot of appreciation for, like, the lyricism, old school lyricism.
Culture.
Yeah, and when you go out there, like, I've heard, right, when you go out there, they really respect, like, the rapping.
Yes.
You know what I mean, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of artists do go out there, and they're, like, go for 6 months, do their thing, they come back and they release stuff. But but there's definitely places in the States that I want to hit. There's a lot of, like, regions and things like that. Like, I'd say everywhere that we could possibly hit. That's a possibility for sure. Yeah.
No doubt, because we've talked about that. Europe and Asia.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm biased, but the best era of this genre is embraced there. So an artist like yourself will go over there. It might be a problem.
Yeah, that'd be good, man. Yeah, that'd be good. I'd be looking forward to that.
No doubt. Yeah. No doubt. As you continue to meet new artists, meet new people, and then people get to see you and hear you and understand who you are. There are great tools right now, and it was, thank you so much for sending me the EPK. But everybody doesn't necessarily have an opportunity to, have somebody like this gentleman right here, feed them, kind of saying, okay, this is where you start.
Yeah.
I like to ask artists, if people are tapping in and they're seeing you, where do you send them? Where do you say, okay, this is a great introduction to who I am as an artist, as a creative?
Yeah. Well, I would say the music first. I'd send them to Spotify. You know what I mean? And, like, on my website. But I'd send them because that's where a lot of people are getting their music. Right? I would send them to Spotify because they're gonna hear it right away. And then once you hear it first, and then you go to the Instagram, you see the content, you'll get it.
Right.
But I think initially I want them to hear what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. Like, I want them to hear that, and then because I'm a big believer still on the music of it, and everything. And again, not everything's not for everybody. I get that, but no one's gonna front on my rapping. Like, it's just not gonna be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, again, I get it. Sometimes your flavor. I look at music. It's like the type of shoes you wear. Yeah. Some people legit don't wear, like, Crocs.
Right.
It's just not for everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some people don't wear certain sneakers. So, like, that's just what it is, right? So I can. So I don't get offended if somebody's like, I'm not feeling your stuff. I'm like, cool, it's not for you. Like, it's like, I don't get offended with that stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I would like them to hear the music first. It's like what I said when we connected with Bruce. He heard the music, and I knew it was authentic because when he was listening to it, he was vibing to it
Right.
over the FaceTime call, and I was like, no, he's really liking what I was doing. So that let me know that this is a person to be connected with. You know what I mean? If they genuinely like your stuff and they respect it, you want to be connected with people like that. Yeah.
You have, just in the time that we've spent together, you've expressed things that I really, really appreciate. I mean, you've talked about even you may not have said it directly, but you've talked about mental health. You've talked about self-belief. You've talked about consistency, and you've talked about just being authentic. Now, some of these things I have learned, it's difficult to connect with them until you've had some life experience. And when I say life experience, I just mean you just got to be alive.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Not that you have to, whatever. And I just want to spend a couple minutes talking about that. One of the things that I appreciate, when it comes to hip hop in particular, when we're talking about Black men, I appreciate that now in 2025 we're at a place that we can have these conversations. More of these conversations are being had. Yeah. I think we have examples of how, because of that, lives are being saved, right? That people are making wiser decisions. And you've already touched on it a little bit, but can you go a little bit deeper into some of the tools that you use to work on your mind?
Muhammad Ali videos, man. Like straight, I watch. Here's the thing, right? Like I look at let's use him specifically, right? Like he grew up in a time where they still weren't messing with Black people. It's just what it was, right? If you go further back, I want to say Joe Jackson, when he was boxing, they wanted to kill him.
Absolutely.
And what did he do? He went in the ring. He's like, you're gonna have to kill me because I'm not losing. Right. And like went and got white women. Walk through. Yeah. He's like, I'm doing that too. Right. And I'm wearing the nice coats and stuff, and like, it's the confidence, right? And like, even meeting people from Harlem, right? Their confidence, like you look at Frank Lucas, like his like he couldn't, he was illiterate. He taught himself how to read and different things like that, but he was super confident. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, I look at these things and I'm like, if you really look back then, there's like, it's kind of like less resources and stuff. You know what I mean? And they start to like make it through, right? Like I follow this MMA coach for George St. Pierre, and he's like mentally, and I get where he's coming from, so I hope this doesn't come off as insensitive, but he's like, mentally, society's kind of weak right now. He's like, back then you had to like fight for your stuff, right? Like in those days, he's like, if any negative situation, if you try to pull 3 positives out of it, they're not stopping you.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So like, I know it's hard for people though, because people come from way different experiences, and you can't really tell somebody like that's been shot at or is getting shot at. You can't say, yo, just work on your mind, man. You know what I mean? You can't tell somebody that. So you have to like be sensitive of how you're like navigating that in conversations. But I think no matter what, you have to work on your mind. You have to like, whatever it takes. Like for me, I watch those videos. I watch boxing videos. Sparring helps, because someone's trying to take your head off. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like when you're doing these type of things, and it's not personal, but you have to protect yourself. You know what I mean? So when you're doing stuff like that, I think your mind builds. Then you start looking at things very different, you know? So you see things differently. But not everybody's willing to go, spar, get punched in the face and stuff like that. Like these things do help you because physically you're being attacked. Yeah. You know what I mean? If somebody is doing that and you can get past that, words are not going to hit you the same way. But if you've never been through certain things, a person can say one thing and it like messes up your day.
That's what's up. I appreciate you sharing that, bro. I firmly believe that when we have platforms that that benefit us, and they can benefit us financially, they can benefit us just from feeding our egos, which is not always a negative, right? That with that comes a responsibility. And so I appreciate you taking advantage of platforms to share that, because again, man, you don't know whose life you might save by just helping give a different perspective. So appreciate that, bro.
Of course.
So again, as people are tapping in, like you said, go check out the music. But what's the easiest, most direct way for people to find you?
So at the NME official. That's on. It's across the board, consistent across the board. So you just at the NME official, D'_NME on Google. Everything pops up.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah. Everything's there ready for you guys.
No doubt, bro. I definitely appreciate you pulling up,
Thank you for having me, man.
It's been great to be able to get to speak to the person. Yeah. It's interesting. You said it, but not knowing or realizing. The Cliff Notes podcast came out of just what you were talking about.
Oh wow, nice.
Right, the idea of I'm doing a radio show and we can do like 10, 15 minute promote your record, promote your show, whatever. But there was always so much more behind that.
For sure.
And so that's what this podcast came up. Let's tell the story. Give the artist an opportunity to let the community know who they are, not just as a creator, but as a human being, as a person. So, this has been dope, bro.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Man.
Absolutely,
I appreciate
it,
yeah.
man. Dope. You know, I don't even know what to say. Like, what should people tap in? Because I know you got like 47 different things that you are, that's in the mix right now.
For sure.
But you know, and just in terms of closing out 2025, what should people be on the lookout for?
Some more new brands that's emerging that I'm working on right now. Some really dope projects, man. From film to fashion to art. Just be on the lookout, man. I'm grinding. The team is grinding. It's amazing.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. Once again, Bruce is in the house. He ain't on the microphone. He on the camera today. But it's good to see you, brother. Thanks for pulling up, for real. All right, y'all. That's it, man. That's another episode of the Cliff Notes Podcast. Remember, it's available everywhere you listen to your podcast or watch your podcast. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and at KlyphNotes.com. Thank you so much to the fellas for pulling up.
Yes,
once again, by the time y'all see this, the show is going to be gone. But just remember, next year, I'm putting it out there. Next year, they're going to be back. We're going to do this all over again.
Yes,
every week, every year here at Hip Hop Week, it goes down, man. It's to connect PDX and beyond. Thank you to X-Ray FM for hosting this recording of the Cliff Notes Podcast. And last but never ever least, big ups to the homie Theory Has It for creating the official theme song for the Cliff Notes Podcast. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Peace.